Our destination was the Santa Ynez Waterfall, which is located in the Santa Monica Mountains near the Topanga area. This waterfall measures at about 20 feet tall, with a 2.5-mile hike. Despite the not-so-clear trail, the waterfall is set up between a secluded narrow valley of sandstone with wildflowers and different vegetation surrounding it. In spite of its secluded trail, the appeal does not fall short, and many people visit the trail on a day-to-day basis. We will be touching on the sediments and rock types, the water process, erosion, and climate and topography, all experienced in this region. Sediment and rock types. The Santa Ynez Mountains first began forming only about 5 million years ago. There were a series of volcanic hills that were near the point of Argo that gradually began to become a single wall ridge expanding from Genova Peak to Magic Creek, which then led to unsolidified river ravine deposit overlaying shallow bed. The most common rock type that is located at Santa Ynez Mountains are mostly young sedimentary rocks. The most common rock types in the range are sandstone shells with some limestone in the western portions of the mountains. Most of the caves located in Santa Ynez Mountains are made of cold water sandstone. It consists primarily of massive arscale sandstone with some slitstone and shell. They are very resistant to erosion. Outcrops of the cold water form some of the most dramatic terrarium on the south slope of the Santa Ynez Mountains, with immense white scallop slabs, thorny peaks, hogback ridges, and sheer cliff faces. The source of the mountains for the sediments that make up the cold water are mostly made up of granite, pebbles, or cobbles, or granite and quartz that make up the total of what the Santa Ynez Mountains sediments and rock types are.
Streams and rivers like this waterfall, the V-cut are usually because the water from the top of the mountain, in this case forming the waterfall, falls down vertically, and over time the erosion of the constant flowing of water causes the top of the waterfall to be more V-shaped, while the outlet is caused by the constant erosion of the water falling on top of it by the stream above. This constant falling of the stream allows the erosion of the bottom rocks and causing a soft layer to be pushed back over time, creating the basin. The river in the Santa Ynez region is about 70 miles long and 15 miles in width, partially structural and partially due to erosion. During 2007, there was a fire that occurred north of Los Olivos, which spread north and east towards the San Rafael area, then continued east and south towards Matilaha Wilderness, and burned about 240,000 acres, which affected 4 watersheds, one of them being the Santa Ynez River. Because of this fire, the erosion rates in the Santa Ynez watershed hit almost 200 times the normal erosion rates. Due to this drastic rate change, it caused an increase in debris flows and sedimentations in affected watersheds. This fire caused a decline in spawning gravel, which is needed in order to allow some organisms to survive and thrive. Top of erosion being a product of constant water flow, a good amount of erosion is because of human activity. The building of dams has changed the flow of the river, and this, in turn, has affected the sediment loads from the watershed. These changes have allowed sedimentation and erosion patterns to turn wetlands into uplands, which are drier and only become wet for short periods of time.
The climate at the Santa Ynez Mountains is described to have a Mediterranean climate, also known as a dry summer climate. This region typically has dry summers with temperatures ranging from mid-70s to over 80 degrees during the day and lowers down to 50 at night. During the summer, fog and high humidity are very common in the mornings, but it becomes more clear and less humid during the day. Winters have temperatures ranging from 40s to 50s during the day and lowers during the night. The area has very little precipitation through the year, almost entirely in the form of rain. The annual average of precipitation ranges from 30 to 34 inches, which mostly occurs during the months of November through March. During spring and early summer, the Ynez Mountains and surrounding areas experience intense sun-donor winds, also known as fun winds. This is a dry and warm downslope wind caused by a subsidence of moist air traveling through the mountain ranges. Due to these winds, the Santa Ynez Mountains offer a significant fire risk, which can cause severe damage. During the time we went involved high water levels, crossing multiple water streams and encountering poison oak throughout the trail in order to reach the waist-deep waterfall. You will have to climb large boulders with water racing down in order to reach the waterfall during the springtime. The rushing and deep waters become slower and shallow during other seasons. Along the creek with dense tree cover, animals such as snakes, frogs, newts, insects like butterflies and mosquitoes, and a variety of birds inhabit this region.
Topography describes the physical feature of an area of land. These features typically include nature formations such as mountains, rivers, lakes, and valleys.
According to landmark record, the San Ynez, San Rafael, and Sierra Madre mountains were created by the same forces that cause earthquakes. The jamming together of the Pacific and North American plates near the Big Bend of the San Andreas Fault. The area is laced with faults and remains an active seismic region.
Topography is the study of land surface. In particular, it lays the underlying foundation of the landscape. For example, topography refers to the mountain, valleys, rivers, or craters on the texture. Topography of an area may refer to landforms and features themselves, or descriptions or deceptions in the map. Topography maps show how rivers flow, how high mountains rise, and how steep valleys descend. They lay out the land as, for example, engineers use topography maps to plan a road, construct a cell tower, or plan a hydroelectric dam. Another example is geologists use topography to understand the tectonic activities, landforms, and where to dig a mine. And last example is hikers use topography maps to find trails and steepness and slopes to plan their ascent. Today we've learned that topography is the arrangement of natural and artificial features in the world.
Okay, we're here at the Santa Ana Ynez River. Right now I'm standing near one of the riverbanks of Santa Ana Ynez, containing mostly water and gravel traveling through the water surface. This has traded over 425 to a 4,325 range to Santa Ana to Santa Barbara. This is clearly one of the oldest riverbanks in Santa Ynez in 16 years. Given from the journey that me and my classmates has gone, this is a worth sighting be if you wanted to go traveling hikes.
Trail is a popular hiking trail in the Santa Ynez Mountains near Santa Barbara, California. It is known for its scenic beauty, and it leads to a seasonal waterfall that flows a period of rainfalls during the dry season. It flows primarily during the wetter months, typically in the late winter and spring. During the dry periods, the waterfall may reduce to a tinkle or dried up completely. Forming water channels like one along the trail typically involves water decline or pre-existing topography. Initially, the landscape topography provides the framework of where the water will flow. Natural depressions, faults, or other geographic features can create a pathway for the water. Over time, as the water flows through these channels, it can further erode and shape them, deepening and widening the channel. Against the fall, the channel is likely to flow the land's natural currents, with the water gradually carving out and shaping the canyons over thousands or even millions of years. Water plays a significant role in this process, especially during the heavy rainfalls and runoff periods. The force of the flowing water can erode rocks and solid, gradually forming channels and canyons. This erosion can particularly pronounced in the area with softer rock types, more easily worn away by water. So while the channel's initial formats may be connected to the area's natural geographic, its ongoing shape and deepening are influenced by the actions of the water over time.
And that concludes our presentation for today. We hope you learned something about the geography of the Santa Ynez Waterfall Trail and may even consider visiting it during the summer or when you have time. Once again, in this video, we discussed the climate, the water process, erosion, the topography, and the sediment and rock types that are found throughout the trail and at the waterfall. We would recommend you to take water shoes, a map of the trail, and be aware of poison oak.